Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we are looking at some ranked gameplay from, well, his name is FaceFullofAlienWingWong. I'll just call him Faceful, but he is in his Leander, and we are looking at his game in a ranked battle. So, interestingly enough, he was asking his team what he thought they were thinking on doing, but it looks like they thought that he was saying that we should all go to A. So that looks like it is the choice, which is very, very interesting. I've never seen a team fully commit to one side and that side be the opposite of what the natural convention is. North team on fault like typically goes to B, maybe one or two ships will go to A just to hold them off a little bit and contest A so you can get a short point lead, but the whole team is going to A. And the other thing that's very, very odd too is the fact that the enemy team is all going B. So if it was odd enough that the whole friendly team is going to A, the whole enemy team is going to B. So this whole thing is just I'm already so confused about what is happening in this battle. It's honestly just pretty insane. So, going over, oh, here comes some planes. Instantly one plane shot down. Not bad RNG there. Early drop from the Independence. Well, yeah, that's never gonna hit anyone. Speaking of what is going on in terms of the layout, not a bad play here before I get into the lineup. Smoking into the cap. The only problem is that he smoked a tad bit too early. Should have waited at least till he was touching the cap and then started smoking. I think he was a little ambitious and tried getting to Cleveland as well as himself into the cap and concealed, but unfortunately he looks like he only smoked up his Cleveland buddy, which was nice, but wow, the Cleveland's already at half health. But anyways, hopefully he can cap this out. There are planes looking like they are trying to suicide spot him. Yep, planes are inbound. He's spotted. Going in reverse, and let's see if anyone shoots at him. I would assume so. Priority target is showing one person. Looks like the Cleveland put on defensive fire. 3 people, 4 people looking at him. That's not good. Shells coming in. No hits thus far. More shells coming in. No hits. No hits. No hits. One hit in the right in the ass. And that's going to reset the cap. But for another 35-ish seconds to go, and we should be capping this pretty easily. Looking at the team layout, independence on each team. New Mexico, Arizona. I'd probably say Arizona a little bit better. Arizona Warspite. That's probably going to go to the Warspite. Warspite is, of course, my number one pick in terms of battleships, just because it's got 380 millimeter guns, or 381 I think, 15-inch guns, so they actually overmatch all the battleships. Bows at tier 6, which is good. Mutsu's not a horrible pick, but it's certainly not also the best necessarily, versus a Bayern, which it's again not a very bad pick. I believe it's got 15-inch guns, I want to say. But then Cleveland, gasoline, Leander gasoline. So again, I wouldn't personally pick the gasoline either. It's one of those ships that's kind of out there. It's got what 155 millimeter guns, so 6-inch guns. Again, it's not very useful. Things like the Cleveland does everything much better. So if you are looking for a good cruiser to play in ranked, certainly the Cleveland is probably your best bet, then Leander's not a bad choice, because of course, oh, excuse me, I'm so tired. But of course, it's got things like smoke, which you can smoke allies, which FaceFull did earlier, or you can smoke yourself and farm some damage. And you've also got Hydro and a heal, which is all very, very important in ranked. Staying alive is always important. Having that heal to help you stay alive is, of course, #1 priority. Of course, one problem with your Leander is that it can't self-spot. So if you had like a fighter or something, or let's say radar, Belfast, you could do some self-spotting of some sorts, but unfortunately the Leander does not have that capability. You are relying on others to do some spotting, like a carrier would. But Leander's not a bad pick. I'm not going to fault anyone bring Leander. Gasoline, it's debatable. I'd say probably Cleveland and Bugioni. I'm probably on the same level in terms of effectiveness than Leander. Bugioni is like a tier 6 Kutuzov essentially. He's got very nice guns as well, but anyway. So first smoke was, I would say planned, but miscalculated and mistimed. Second smoke was again planned, and it was not a bad smoke. FaceFull wanted to get some shots off on that Bayern, and unfortunately the Bayern was not spotted for a good majority of that time. So again, second smoke was planned, but a bit of some bad luck did not help FaceFull there. Arizona shells coming in, 3K, and another 3K from the Bayern. Not a very bad play whatsoever. Going very slowly, and then all of a sudden accelerating to your maximum speed and turning. Something that's pretty typical for British cruisers. You see that a lot, especially at the higher tiers, going in and out of smoke, or just leaving smoke when you're spotted as a British cruiser. That's a very, very effective tactic because, well, you saw there, you slow down just a little bit and all the shells miss. Or if they do hit you, most of the time they won't be very hard-hitting shells, so they'll only do maybe a couple grand or something like that. So my next guess is FaceFull is going to push in probably a little bit closer to the G56 island and start shooting. But he actually smoked up here. This is not a bad move, only because he's right next to the island, and if he does need to move for, let's say, radar, even though there isn't radar in this match, he can still actually move behind that island and be relatively safe. So positioning wise, this is actually probably a little bit better of a spot than the G56 island. The only reason I say stay at the G56 island is because you can hug that island, still shoot pretty much everyone, and you don't have to back up to get into cover. So that's my only thing. Arizona sitting broadside didn't punish that Arizona too much, but he is rather low. But as soon as this Arizona is angling, which he is doing right now, all the damage will go to 0 very shortly here. Warships is showing decent broadside. Bayern is coming out full speed, so torpedoes are going to be away. Interesting use of the single launcher torpedoes. Most of the time I don't use them. A lot of the time I actually forget about them, but sometimes they are effective, sometimes they are not. Most of the time in open water like this, I would prefer just the normal spread. Usually I use the single spread for people that are coming around a corner. They're very effective then, because if you're going to get one torpedo hit, you're going to get a lot, because you can just fire it one on top of the other. And while it is reduced damage because of things like damage saturation, you're still getting damage that you wouldn't otherwise get. as well as some floodings, but that's another story for another time. Anyways, terms of ships, looking at 3 battleships and 1 carrier on their team, 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 1 carrier on our team. However, our Cleveland is very low. Our Arizona is also pretty low, too. And we'll see if this Warspite will actually ram this Arizona, or someone else will kill him. Nope, the Bayern will actually finish him off. FaceFull is continually kiting here. Not a bad move. In terms of how the team is set up, not too bad whatsoever. Got a battleship in a very good position. Cleveland's in a very good position too. You can shoot over the island and have a somewhat small risk of getting shot back at. And of course, we've got a wide flanker, FaceFull. He is in a good position, getting those nice juicy broadsides of these battleships to do some pretty substantial damage thus far. However, again, the island I was speaking of earlier, the one at G56 that FaceFull has found, is kind of in the way. That is, of course, the one downside of staying close to this island, is that it's very big, and you are going to be out of the fight for a good minute and a half. But if you can get past that, then you can do things like this, get a very, very nice flank off. Cleveland takes out that Warspite by burning him down, and then if FaceFull does actually go through this gap, which I would probably recommend doing, that is a little bit more ballsy, but it can pay off a lot. But of course, I can't speak for FaceFull, because as there's a reason why his replay is getting shown. I'm sure you guys will see that a little bit later. But Bayern is rushing our New Mexico and Cleveland. Independence gets spotted out of range, but we're going to have to start focusing fire. Again, big islands, you're going to be out of the fight for a good 30 seconds, minute and a half, depending on the size of the island. And oh boy, I am so tired and I am yawning excessively, and I apologize so much for that. But anyway, enemies contesting A. We are going to be hopping on Bravo really soon here. Again, not a bad play. Could have shortened the time a little bit and done a little bit more damage, especially since the Arizona was his guns were not looking towards FaceFull. And the other thing is, you've got another smoke, and you've got allies spotting for you too. That is a pretty huge thing. I mentioned that earlier. Not being able to spot by yourself when you're in smoke is something that the Leander struggles with. Whereas like something like a Cleveland, where you can be sitting behind an island or in someone else's smoke and pop that spotter plane, and that spotter plane actually spots for you. That is a completely different story, and that's why a Cleveland is, again, another more effective ship overall, in my opinion, than I think the Leander is. But we're going to try and cap this out. Independence is spotted again. New Mexico is brawling with Arizona and Bayern. He is doing quite well, actually. I'm surprised how long he's lasted thus far, with the amount of secondaries and the amount of 14-inch and 15-inch shells flying around. Oh boy, please do not go off the cap. And that is going to be so painful if he goes off the cap. Okay, he actually slows down just in time. It's 2 solo base caps. I would expect him to start smoking here. Unfortunately, the New Mexico just does die right there. But of course, you cannot go up against 3 battleships like that without your smoke, or even with smoke. It's going to be very, very difficult to go up against these battleships. Independence is there too. It looks like both carriers are out of planes completely, though. Ooh, that didn't hurt as much as I thought it might. Gets a nice smoke screen. Ooh, that was a Citadel for sure. 10,900 damage. Exactly. So he's going to heal up, not as much as he would like, but he is going to heal up some. Hydro's popped, doesn't have quite the range. He would need about pretty much German Hydro to be able to Hydro these enemy ships. 2 torpedo hits on presumably the Arizona, but no flooding. Again, bit unfortunate. Byron shoots randomly into smoke. In actuality, it was past the smoke. It was nowhere near, so he was spotted very briefly, and he goes undetected there. Oh boy. So, Independence gets spotted by most likely Hydra. That's what I'm going to be guessing. I can't actually see what the range of Hydro is on Leander currently in game through replays, but no Citadels there, 1 Citadel there, 2 ships looking at him. Arizona is around the corner, Byron is right there. So back-to-back salvos around 5-6k each, not too bad. Oh boy, Arizona's gonna be rounding the corner. He's backing up maybe a little too far. I think he's gonna shoot him with his guns, aiming right at the upper main armor belt, and got 5 very nice penetrations. I believe that's about 30 millimeters of armor on there. Byron shoots at him. Fortunately, though, he dodges / misses most of them / overpens a lot of them. 2,600 health. Let's see if he can't kill this Byron. Oh, so close. 1,000 damage. He's on 2,600. Pops his last heal, or maybe his second to last heal, rather. Needs a little bit more damage. Byron shoots back. Oh my god, 700 health. This is so intense. Misses the last salvo. 1 more to finish him off. This should be the killing blow, assuming he doesn't get any overpens. Oh, and non-penetrations. No, this is the worst. Byron misses, but the FaceFull of AlienWingWong takes out that Byron. The only ship left is the Independence, and he is around at probably about 15,000 health left. And that was basically the most interesting thing I've ever seen. I can't believe he is still alive. Congratulations to FaceFull. He did something I didn't think he was going to be able to do. Take on 2 battleships in a Leander while not in smoke. That is quite impressive. Independence gets spotted, and it's going to be game over shortly here. Their Independence is 11k. He's done. This is free pickings right now. The only thing this Independence could do is possibly almost ram the Leander and kill him with the secondaries, and hope that he doesn't get set on fire or torpedoed or shot, and then ram the other Independence, which would be no less a miracle. But yeah, it's just a matter of time before the Independence dies. 2,000 damage there. Secondaries probably gonna kill him, maybe, if they could. This should be the killing blow here, and it is. Well played from FaceFull. Alright guys, so looking at the screenshots here, we are looking at 125,000 damage done, high caliber, 427 credits, 1,000 credits, 8k XP, 1,600 free XP, 3 planes shot down, 2 torpedoes, 3 ships killed, Citadel, 13 base defends. That one was pretty important, as well as 2 solo base captures, the only 2 solo base captures for his team. So Leander, yeah, it's a good destroyer as well. Oops, sorry about that. Team score wise, 2,348 base XP. About what is that? 700 above his teammate in New Mexico. So congrats to Leander. Congrats to FaceFull in his Leander. He has reached rank 16, and he is doing very well. Most of the damage, of course, was from the main battery, 100k, and some torpedo hits for 18 grand. Not too big of a deal. Potential damage of 1.2 million shot his way. Damage received 34,000, so pretty much the health of a Cleveland. So not a bad game there. And of course, capture and defense points. He had 100% of the capture points and almost all of the defense points as well. So very well played by Faithful. With premium, he's making 300 grand and ranked. Easy money. Who needs a Missouri when you can play Leander and ranked?